When a video shatters the algorithm, the numbers move faster than the eye can track. Within 48 hours, the count climbs from 0 to 100,000. Thousands of comments from every time zone flood the notification feed. The person behind this statistical anomaly is Ryan, a 16-year-old living in a small mountain town. He has no industry connections and no specialized equipment, just a second-hand laptop and an old grocery shop apartment. Public perception of events like this is usually identical. We assume the creator got lucky, timed the market, or discovered a secret loophole in the recommendation engine. But the spike is a distraction. To understand how this actually happened, we have to look past the viral explosion and analyze the data that the algorithm never recorded. Months before the breakthrough, Ryan's reality was defined by a grueling schedule. He delivered newspapers at dawn, attended school, and worked at a cafe until dark. His editing sessions began when the rest of the town was asleep. This graph represents his first year of work. It is a document of total stagnation. Despite weekly uploads, his viewership stayed between 3 and 10 views, most of which came from his own family. This phase carries a heavy psychological cost. At school, his peers mocked the effort. Ryan was investing 40 hours a week into a project that the world was effectively ignoring. This raises a logical problem. When every metric indicates that you are failing, and your social circle confirms it, what is the operational reason to keep going? On a rainy evening in the cafe, Ryan reached his limit. He looked at the flat line on his screen and prepared to delete the channel. He had reached the point where quitting seemed like the only rational choice. Mr. Lewis, the cafe owner, intervened with a different perspective. He suggested that failure isn't a lack of progress, but a specialized training period. He argued that the struggle was teaching Ryan technical nuances that a quick success would have skipped. He used the example of the bamboo tree. For years, the bamboo shows no vertical growth above the soil. Instead, it directs all its energy into a massive, invisible root system, building the foundation required to support sudden, massive height later on. Ryan wasn't stagnant. He was in his root growth phase. He was building the technical and emotional foundation that would eventually support his career. Ryan shifted his strategy. He stopped checking the view counts and started checking his skill level. He treated each video as a laboratory for specific improvements. He spent the next several months deconstructing professional cinematography. He practiced sound design, manipulated lighting on a budget, and studied rhythmic documentary pacing. He applied this refined skill stack to a story about a local street musician. He spent days filming and editing, focusing on the quality of the narrative rather than how many people might see it. When the video went viral, it wasn't a random occurrence. It was the intersection of two lines. Ryan's steadily rising skill level finally met an external opportunity when a larger creator shared the link. The external share acted as the gatekeeper, but the technical polish, the pacing and audio work Ryan had refined in isolation, is what held the audience's attention for the full duration. Without that foundation, the views would have bounced immediately. What the world calls an overnight success is usually the visible tip of a very long, very quiet timeline of deliberate practice. But the breakthrough introduced a new problem. With fame came theft. Other creators copied his style. With attention came hostility. Anonymous commenters mocked his appearance and accused him of getting lucky. Ryan signed that same laptop, feeling the same urge to delete everything. However, he realized the crowd's noise felt remarkably like the silence of the previous year. He had already survived being ignored. He knew how to work without the world's permission. This is the real utility of the hidden timeline. The years spent working in the void weren't just for learning how to edit. They were a stress test. Ryan's foundation was built on the work itself, which meant the temporary noise of the internet couldn't actually break him. 2 years later, the viral spike has settled into a sustainable career. Ryan now directs documentary series for major streaming platforms, traveling the country to find stories in other small towns. He returned to the cafe to give Mr. Lewis a watch engraved with a simple note of thanks. They both knew that the watch wasn't a reward for the success, but a reminder of the years spent in the dark. The story of the bamboo tree teaches us that external validation is a lagging indicator. The actual growth happens when nobody is watching. If your progress feels slow and your metrics are flat, you aren't failing. You are simply building the deep, invisible root system that is required to sustain the massive success that is coming.